The rain poured heavily that night as Evan boarded the midnight train. He was exhausted after a long business trip, barely staying awake as the train rocked gently. The carriage was almost empty, except for a few scattered passengers. But one person caught his attention. A man sitting at the far end of the carriage, wearing a dark overcoat and hat, head slightly tilted down. The man never moved. Stop after stop, passengers got on and off. Some glanced at the motionless figure but paid no attention. Evan, however, grew uneasy. Something about the man felt off. The train's fluorescent lights flickered, and the rhythmic clatter of the tracks created a hypnotic background hum. As the train passed the suburbs, Evan noticed that every time he blinked or looked away, the man seemed to shift positions, first leaning to the left, then slightly forward. But when Evan stared directly, the man was completely still. The ticket inspector approached, scanning passengers' tickets. Evan took the opportunity to ask, "Excuse me, that man at the end, does he have a ticket?" The inspector frowned and looked toward the end of the carriage. "What man?" Evan's stomach tightened. "The one in the overcoat." The inspector shook his head.
Sir, that seat has been empty the entire ride.
Confused and unsettled, Evan tried to brush it off. Maybe he was overtired. But as the train entered a long tunnel, all the lights briefly went out. In the complete darkness, Evan heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps approaching. The hairs on his neck stood up. When the lights flickered back on, the man was sitting directly across from him, face still hidden beneath the brim of the hat. Evan froze. His breath quickened. He wanted to scream, but something held him back, like an invisible pressure on his chest. Suddenly, the man whispered, barely audible over the rain hitting the windows,
"You shouldn't be here."
Evan tried to stand, but his body wouldn't respond. The world around him seemed to slow down.
"He's coming."
"Who?" Evan managed to stammer, but the man only repeated,
"He's coming."
Then, just like that, the man vanished. One blink, and he was gone. The train suddenly stopped, not at a station, but in the middle of nowhere. The intercom crackled to life.
Attention passengers, due to an unexpected obstruction, we will be stopped briefly.
Evan looked out the window. At first, only darkness and rain, but then, faint movement. A figure walking along the tracks. Tall, thin, unnatural. Its head moved in sharp, jerky motions like a puppet on strings. Evan's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Don't get off the train." The figure drew closer. Its face was featureless. No eyes, no mouth, just smooth, pale skin stretching across its head. Suddenly, the door to Evan's carriage hissed open. The faceless figure entered. Its movements were smooth, but mechanical. Evan ran toward the back of the train as the creature followed, silently but swiftly. Carriage after carriage, door after door, Evan sprinted through, trying to stay ahead. Just as the figure reached out an elongated hand, Evan dove into the conductor's cabin and slammed the door shut, locking it. Inside, he found something horrifying. Surveillance monitors showed every carriage, all completely empty, except for him and the figure. The intercom activated again, but this time a new voice spoke. "We've been watching you, Evan. You boarded this train years ago. You never left." Images flashed on the monitors. CCTV footage of Evan boarding the same train, night after night, always sitting in the same seat, always alone. He looked at his reflection in the dark monitor screen, but there was none. He reached out in disbelief. His hand passed through the console. His body was translucent. You're the passenger who never got off, Evan. The voice whispered one final time. As the rain continued to fall outside, the train pulled into its final station, completely empty. Only the faint echo of a whisper remained. Thank you for listening. Sweet dreams.